Hey guys, Luke06 here, and in today's video, I thought I'd bring in a new video idea. So today, I'll be ranking each of Naruto's forms from weakest to strongest based on the tiers. Now, just a heads up, I didn't create this tier list, so I will have a link down in the description. Also, I have recently released a video that explains Naruto's form, so you can click on down below if you need a refresher. If you do have a different opinion than me, then that's perfectly fine. Feel free to leave your own opinions down in the description. So with all that out of the way, let's rank Naruto's forms. Alright, so starting off with Academy Naruto. Now, I feel like, all things considered, this one's pretty self-explanatory. This is Naruto, at the start of the series, episode 1. He doesn't have any experience or any jutsus, so for that reason, I'd have to put him in the Genin tier. Naruto in his fight against Mizuki. Now, for those who don't remember, Mizuki was his episode 1 fight where he first used his multi-shadow clone jutsu. Now, Mizuki was a Chunin, and I feel like with the multi-shadow clone jutsu, with just the sheer amount of clones Naruto summoned in this fight, he should be able to overwhelm the majority of, well, if not all Genin and Chunin. So I feel like with all the shadow clones, he could overwhelm some Jonin. Obviously, there are some which I feel like even the sheer amount of clones he summons wouldn't be able to deal with. But I feel like for the most part, with the amount of clones that we would summon, he would have been in the Jonin tier. Alright, so now moving on to Naruto in the Land of Waves arc. I feel like Naruto in the Land of Waves sets the bar for like your standard Genin in the series. He doesn't have really many feats to show him above into like a Chunin or a Jonin level like he did with Mizuki. He's definitely stronger than he was in his academy, just based on the fact that he has learned the multi-shadow clone jutsu and the fact that he has just also got, that little bit more experience. But I don't think he's enough at this point to be considered a Chunin. He is probably what I would say to be your standard Genin. Naruto in his initial Jinchuriki form in his fight against Haku. Now, some people like to believe and some people say that this version of Naruto was like light speed because he was able to keep up with Haku in his mirrors. But, I mean, you can do the feats and calculations all you want. I just personally cannot see this being the case. Some people will agree, some people will disagree, but Naruto in his Jinchuriki form, his initial Jinchuriki form against Haku, I don't see this being light speed. He's definitely powerful, he is definitely strong, but I just don't see him being, that light speed. I don't feel comfortable putting him anywhere above Jonin level. Although Haku was extremely skilled, and honestly, I would probably have to put this in the Jonin level with his fight against Mizuki. Okay, Naruto at the beginning of the Chunin Exams. Now, Naruto at the start of the Chunin Exams, I don't think he would be Chunin level at this point. I don't feel like he is a Chunin level until probably like the end of the exams when he fought Neji. So, honestly, I would have to probably put him in the Genin level because I feel like the Chunin level fighters in the Chunin Exams were like Rock Lee, Gaara, Neji, people on that sort of level, and Shikamaru. This Naruto would not be able to beat any of them. At least I really don't think so. And even his fight against Kiba was a bit of a fluke, if I'm being completely honest. So I'd definitely have to put him probably in the Genin level. I don't feel like he's Chunin just yet. Alright, so now Naruto in the Chunin Exams in his initial Jinchuriki form in the Forest of Death against Orochimaru. Now, this one was very brief, so this is more kind of guesswork than an actual estimation. He managed to completely stop Orochimaru's snake, which is a massive feat, all things considered. Now it's kind of just debating, is he stronger than he was in his fight against Haku or his fight against Mizuki? I'm really not sure. You could argue that him stopping Orochimaru's snake was enough to have just definitively put him into that Jonin tier, which I'm really debating between Jonin and Chunin. I'm probably gonna have to go with Jonin, to be honest. Yeah, I'm gonna put him in the Jonin tier for this one at least. Alright, so Naruto in the exam finals of the Chunin Exams against Neji. Now, for this one, I feel like this is the first kind of up tier for base Naruto. I feel like Naruto would be Chunin level here, based on his showings against Neji and the fact that he, was actually able to beat Neji in the end. I do feel like this Naruto is a damn lot stronger than he was before, especially with his training with Jiraiya. So I would put this version of Naruto in the Chunin tier. I don't think he's as strong as his fight against Mizuki or in his fight against, Haku and his initial Jinchuriki forms, but I do feel like he's strong enough to be a Chunin. So Naruto in his initial Jinchuriki form against Neji. Now, I do feel like this definitely is a step up from his exam finals, and this is what allowed him in the end to eventually overwhelm Neji's gentle fist style and reopen his Tenketsu. So now, I feel like this would start to edge Naruto into the Jonin tier. It's definitely more powerful than his original form, and Neji, at this point anyway, would probably be within the high Chunin to low Jonin tier, because he is, like, really strong at this point. So, with Naruto being able to overwhelm him with a bit of Kurama's chakra, this is what I would say puts him into the Jonin tier. Naruto in his fight against Gaara, I would put this in Kage tier. I would genuinely put this as like a sort of like a low Kage tier, just for the fact that he was able to actually overwhelm a tailed beast. He was able to take on Gaara and take on Shikaku and actually managed to beat him in this form, which, considering the fact that it's usually the Akatsuki which are hunting down and taking down a tailed beast, this is just massive. And the fact that Naruto was actually able to take down a tailed beast is a massive feat within itself. So with that, I feel like I would have to just put him in the Kage level. I don't think most Jonin are capable of a feat like that. Alright, so Naruto when he learned the Rasengan in his fight against Kabuto and Orochimaru. I would personally have to put this in the Jonin tier. Now, as we know, the Rasengan is one of the hardest jutsus in the Naruto World to master, and very few have ever been able to even perform it. So the fact that Naruto at this stage was able to perform it shows an insane amount of chakra control that would put him in the Jonin level plus. Naruto was also able to put up a good fight against Kabuto, and as Jiraiya said, Kabuto, if he needed to, would have been able to stand toe-to-toe with Kakashi. Now, while Kabuto might not be like as strong as Kakashi, that implies that he should be relative to him, and this version of Naruto was almost able to take down Kabuto, which means that those two should at least be somewhat relative. So I would personally have to put this as a sort of lower Jonin tier. I don't think he's stronger than Kabuto, and I don't think he's stronger than Kakashi either. I do think he's definitely weaker than both here, but with his Rasengan, he was able to almost win that fight, which is why I would personally put him in the Jonin tier. Alright, so for the next one, I'm going to go straight into both of his final value forms, and I'm just going to have to put both of these into the Jonin tier. These are both, compared to his other forms, very strong. The only problem is they just don't have enough behind them to push him up into the next tier. These are both extremely strong. These provide massive, insane buffs to Naruto, into his jutsus, into his physical strength, but I don't think that these would be enough to push him up into that Kage tier. I'm gonna have to say the same about his first 3 Shippuden forms. While each one of these do get progressively stronger, I just don't feel like they have enough behind them to push Naruto up into the Kage tier. It is a very big jump, and Jonin is a very, broad gap with strength, but I just don't feel like anything before Three Tails Cloak Naruto has enough to then push him up into that Kage tier. Right, so I feel like this is where it starts to get interesting. I would put Naruto in his Four Tails Cloak in the Kage level. Now, this was the first time on screen that we saw Naruto access his version 2 cloak against Orochimaru. Now, I would put Four Tails Cloak Naruto in the Kage tier from what we heard he did to Jiraiya and from what we saw in his fight against Orochimaru. During the time skip, Jiraiya had to fight against Four Tails Cloak Naruto and said it was one of the only 2 times in his life he almost died. Now, more than likely, we can guess that this wasn't Jiraiya going all out on Four Tails Cloak Naruto. I doubt he used Sage Mode in the fight, and I also doubt that he was trying to harm Naruto or hurt him. He was just trying to seal away Kurama's chakra. Even so, with him being able to harm and almost kill a Kage level fighter like Jiraiya, I would say that would be enough. Even if he's not directly as strong as Jiraiya, it would be enough to put him in the Kage tier. Now, he also did have good showings against Orochimaru, and he could put up a good fight against him. I also don't think that Four Tails Naruto is as strong as Orochimaru, but I do feel like he's strong enough to be able to push him up to that Kage tier. Naruto with his Rasenshuriken. Now, I feel like you could put this either in the Kage or Jonin tier, based off the fact of, this is quite literally a one-shot jutsu. This will take out most people. The Rasenshuriken is a jutsu that destroys your opponent on a cellular level and separates and destroys his chakra network, which in essence would just straight up kill 99% of people, if not everyone, as shown with Kakuzu, and Kakuzu is basically the closest you could get to being immortal in the Naruto-verse. Not only that, but it is a jutsu at this point Naruto could use 3 times over with his shadow clones, which he did use to outsmart and outmaneuver Kakuzu, which eventually allowed him to land the finishing blow. Personally, I'm gonna put his Rasenshuriken in the Kage level. So I'm gonna put Naruto Sage Mode against Pain definitely in the Kage tier. I don't feel like I could put him any lower than that. Now, in Sage Mode, as we know, all of Naruto's physical stats and chakra-based techniques gain an insane buff. He also gains the ability to actually throw his Rasenshurikens now, which makes him a lot more dangerous. Now, comparing this Naruto to Jiraiya, who we do know is Kage level, it was stated in this arc that Naruto had surpassed him and was superior to Jiraiya. Now, while I'm not sure if it's talking about if he's more proficient with Sage Mode or if he's more stronger in general, I'm not sure, and I'll leave that up to your interpretation. But either way, I don't think, even if it's the strength gap, even if Jiraiya may be stronger, maybe weaker, the strength gap between the two wouldn't at this point be nearly significant enough for it to actually matter. I'm also going to put 6 Cloak Naruto up in the Kage tier, and I feel like this one doesn't need too much explaining. It's the natural evolution from his 4 Tails Cloak, which I have put in the Kage tier. It's also stronger than him in his Sage Mode versus Pain, because this was obviously when Kurama's chakra started leaking from Naruto when he couldn't defeat Pain in Sage Mode, which then in his 6 Tails Cloak he had a much better showing against the Diva Path. So yeah, I'd put 6 Tails Cloak Naruto into the Kage tier. Right, so from here on out, I wouldn't put any form of Naruto below the Kage tier. So I'm just going to sort out his last few, which I feel like would be in the Kage tier, which I'm going to say Naruto during the War Arc is Kage tier, and him in Sage Mode during the War Arc was also Kage tier. Now, Naruto Sage Mode in the War Arc is not going to be weaker than the first time we used it against Pain, and Naruto base War Arc is just not going to be weaker than his Rasenshuriken. Now, I guess if you wanted to, you could make an argument for Naruto War Arc in Sage Mode being in the Beyond Kage tier. I wouldn't put him there just yet, but I could see, obviously, if you said that him as a Shadow clone, which is half of his ordinary chakra, in Sage Mode, being able to beat the reanimated third Raikage, who was able to single-handedly box the 8 Tails into submission, if you wanted to put him in the Beyond Kage tier for that, I could see why. I just don't think he's that strong just yet. So I would leave him in the Kage tier for now. However, I am going to put Naruto in his KCM1 form in the Beyond Kage tier, and I don't think it could go any lower than that. In KCM1, Naruto during the War Arc, when he first used it, was literally sending out his shadow clones to deal with reanimated Kage. Not only that, but he also sent even more clones out just to several parts of the battlefield to provide help. And considering each shadow clone halves Naruto's chakra, and at this point Naruto had made several dozen clones, let's just say each clone was 1/50th of Naruto's chakra. Naruto was sending these clones, which are 1/50th of his chakra, out to deal with reanimated Kage, which is an insane level of strength, which would put him above that Kage level. KCM2, yeah, no, definitely in the Beyond Kage tier. He's not strong enough to be considered, you know, 6 paths at this point, but I mean, he's a lot stronger than his KCM1 form. I don't really need to explain why, but this is when Naruto had access now to all of Kurama's chakra. He could go into his Tailed Beast avatar, he could use Tailed Beast bombs. He was a damn sight stronger, so I would just say, yeah, no, definitely in the Beyond Kage tier. I'm also going to put his KCM2 plus Sage Mode in the Beyond Kage tier. Again, this is just a stronger version of his KCM2 form, which I don't feel like would be strong enough just yet to put him into the 6 paths level. Alright, so 6 paths Naruto. Now, I can only put him into the 6 paths tier because it's quite literally 6 paths Naruto. So, I mean, I don't think there's really much to say against him being in the 6 paths tier. Not only was Naruto stronger in this form than he was before, but he had access to chakra from each and every one of the Tailed Beasts. He had 3 Kekkei Genkai, Lava Release, Spoil Release, and Magnet Release. And he also had access to every Nature Release. He was also able to cut the God Tree in half with his Lava Release Rasenshuriken, kick away Madara's True Seeker Orbs, and was also able to detect his Limbo clones. So, with all things considered, that's why I would put 6 Paths Naruto in the 6 Paths tier. Alright, so Sage of 6 Paths Naruto. Now, I'm in a bit of a predicament here because it's definitely stronger than his 6 Paths mode, his ordinary 6 paths mode, because it's a KCM2 buff on top of his 6 paths mode. He also gains True Seeker Orbs and the ability to fly. But the thing is, I don't think this would put him into the upper 6 paths at this point. And the main reason I say it doesn't for now is because I feel like the upper 6 paths would be people on the level of 10 Tails, Jinchuriki Madara, Double Renegon, God Tree Absorbed, Rene Sharingan. So people on like that sort of level, like the strongest Madara form. Now, the reason I can't put this Naruto up there as well is because it did take this Naruto and a EMS plus Renegon Sasuke to be able to go up against that version of Madara, which honestly Madara in the end would have ended up winning. And Madara is not beyond Kaguya, and Madara is not as strong as Kaguya, so I don't think I could put Sage of Six Paths Naruto into the upper six paths at this point. Alright, so Naruto in his Kurama Asura avatar, I'm gonna have to go ahead and put this straight at the strongest. Now, in my opinion, this would be up here with his Baryon mode. This is probably the strongest single attack we've ever seen Naruto do, which is an attack that was strong enough to go against Sasuke's Indra Susanoo, which was strengthened by all the chakra from every single tailed beast, launched into a single arrow that made an explosion so massive it absolutely completely destroyed the Valley of the End and made a massive tornado. So yeah, no, I definitely have to put this in the strongest. Alright, so moving on to Naruto in the last movie, I would put base Naruto in the last into the six paths tier, and I will also put Naruto the last KCM2 Sage mode into the upper six paths tier. I don't think Naruto really lost any strength between Shippuden and when the last took place. I do think that Naruto would actually be stronger in the last movie in his KCM2 Sage mode, mainly based on the fact that he was able to take on and beat Taneri on the moon, who is a half Otsutsuki who managed to split the moon in half fairly easily, and he didn't sustain really much injury from the fight. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna leave Naruto in KCM2 in the last in the upper six paths tier. If you have a different opinion than me, leave it in the comments. I'm curious to know why and what you personally think. Do you think that Naruto in the last KCM2 Sage mode is stronger than he was in Shippuden? I'm gonna go with yes. There will be split opinions on these next few ones, because there are some people who believe that Naruto is stronger in Boruto than he was in Shippuden, and there's a lot of people who also think that Shippuden Naruto was stronger than he was in Boruto. Me personally, I lean more towards him being stronger in Boruto. Obviously, this all depends from where you draw your source from, where you draw your feats, and where you genuinely just think he would go. But for Hokage Naruto, I don't really want to put him any higher than the upper six paths tier, but I don't feel like putting him any lower than Beyond Kage. So it is between, for me, Beyond Kage and six paths. I'm gonna put him in the six paths tier. The thing that makes scaling like so hard for Hokage Naruto is the fact that oftentimes in Boruto, he got sidelined to make room, obviously, for Boruto to shine. It's not Naruto's show anymore, and there's a lot of times he's been done dirty just by lazy writing. I don't think he was nerfed. There are times where there's just stuff which happens to him that just wouldn't in Shippuden. I don't think that's him being nerfed or him being weaker than he was. I just think that is just a mixture of him not being the main character anymore with just bad writing. I do think he was stronger in Boruto from the times we did see him shine against, you know, Momoshiki, Ishiki, but overall I don't think he's weaker. Hokage Naruto in the Sage mode, I'm gonna put also in the six paths tier, because I just don't think he's strong enough at this point to get to the upper six paths tier. I couldn't put Hokage Sage mode Naruto any lower than his base Hokage, because obviously Sage mode is a buff, but I don't think it's a buff strong enough at this point to push him to the upper six paths tier. Alright, six path Sage mode Hokage Naruto. Now, it's a big misconception that Naruto, after the events of Shippuden, lost access to his six path chakra. He never did. He lost access to, I think it was the yin half of Hagoromo's chakra that allowed him to perform the six paths planetary devastation, but he didn't lose his six path chakra. But even with all that considered, I could only really put him in the upper six paths tier. I couldn't put him beyond a Momoshiki, because this was the same Naruto who went up against Momoshiki. Granted, Naruto did have half of his chakra, but yet again he also needed to team up with Sasuke to put a challenge against the fused Momoshiki. This one would have been controversial anyway, because some people believe Kaguya is beyond Momoshiki, which I'm just gonna say this, right? You could scale this two ways, and I will say this: you can go either from feats you've seen in the story, or you could go from author's intentions. If you read and look back through Boruto and back through the build up for Momoshiki, he was always intended to be stronger than Kaguya. But in all honesty, I could see if you went either way with this. If you want to say that Kaguya was stronger than Momoshiki, that's fine. I can see that. If you want to say that Momoshiki was stronger than Kaguya, that's also fine, and I could see your reasons for it. But either way, even taking that into consideration, I don't think this Naruto would even be able to go up against either of those two solo and manage to win, let alone be beyond them. So I would just have to say Hokage six paths Naruto would be in the upper six paths tier. Okay, so last but not least, Naruto Baryon mode. So So Baryon mode is going straight up to the strongest in my opinion. This was the form he used to absolutely destroy Ishiki when him in his Hokage 6-path Sage mode couldn't with Sasuke. And honestly, they were getting destroyed so hard that I don't even remember either of them being able to actually land a hit on Ishiki before Naruto activated Baryon mode. And the fact that Naruto went from not being able to land a hit to Ishiki not even being able to land a hit on him, that is such a big gap. And honestly, Ishiki, I reckon and I do say, is superior to Momoshiki. Do with that as you will. So the fact that he was able to absolutely destroy Ishiki, I would say that puts him up into the strongest tier. And this here is my final list for ranking Naruto's forms from weakest to strongest. So I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. So if you would make any changes, let me know what changes you would make in the comments, and let me know what you think of generally this new sort of video style. If this video does get well received, then I'll consider making more of these in the future. Maybe in the next video we could rank Sasuke's forms or Sakura's, Kakashi's. But yeah, it has been fun to do this video, and honestly I'd be interested into hearing what you guys think about it. Now this video is just meant to be a bit of fun. Don't get pissed off at me if I ranked a Naruto form stronger or weaker than you think it is. Again, it's just meant to be a bit of fun. So with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I hope you have a good week. See you in the next video.